So here is Let It Be Lee at Red Hills in the 4-star short. So now I've gone around the ring quite a bit, and Lee was being a little bit excited and pretty nervous about what you can't see on that side is that there's people and there's kind of bathrooms, so that you can hear the door slamming, and that kind of spooked him a little bit. So again, I'm trying to just get him to focus a little bit here and channel his nervousness. So going down the center line, I have to really work on getting him a little straighter and riding him more in shoulder 4. He really likes to shove his haunches right, which that's always been a weakness for him. And then coming into the halt, he cracked me up there with, yeah, let's just go ahead and leave. Sadly, Lee, no, we have to do some dressage. So now coming in to the shoulder end. And again, you can see he's just a little bit tight because he's just a little bit worried, but he's trying. So going into our medium trot, that was pretty decent, showing the transition there. And I'm trying to use my corners just to get him to take a breath. And then again, shoulder in. That's a fair amount of angle on it. But again, I was working with him being a little bit worried, and then going into our medium trot, and then coming back. And now we cross the diagonal for the extended. Well, she's getting a lot stronger for this. And then he's starting to relax a little bit. Again, that transition could have been a little bit better. But again, when you're riding a bit of a nervous horse, you're trying to find in the movements exercises to where you can get them to take a breath. So where you can really push where you can, and where you just need to kind of help them means sometimes you're not able to kind of go for the points like you would like. But his half passes were really good. And now coming into the walk, and again, he's starting to settle more and more as we go. And he can sometimes be tricky in the walk because he'll put a little jig in. So I'm working on, holding him together, telling him to walk. This is our walk pirouette, which you can't really see. I think that scored a 7. Coming into the second walk pirouette. It was really good until that last step. He kind of got a little stuck there. So I lost a couple of points on that one. Then we go directly into our extended walk, which he was a pretty good boy for this. He has a really nice walk, and it's actually really lovely when he takes the contact, which he's doing a little bit better job. We're both working on getting him to take the connection out and not to curl. And then I have to kind of be very strategic in how I shorten up my reins, because again, he's no dummy, so he knows when I shorten up something's happening. And the transition to the right lead canter hasn't been his strongest, but I was really pleased with that for him. He did not hollow out like he has done in the past. And then we go into our medium canter down alongside. Make sure I show the transition. Again, he's feeling a lot better now. We're a little bit more relaxed than we were coming in. So into our canter half pass. Then I have to make sure I'm straight. And now coming in for our flying change. It was a good change. He kind of paused right before. So then again, working in my corner, trying to make sure I have the hind leg coming through. I need to get his neck up and out a little bit more. But then into our half pass. Make sure I'm straight on the center line, which means I need to send him forward. And then now coming on to the last flying change, which this is his left to right, so this is the stronger of the leads. He did that one really well. And now we're finishing up with our test, coming down the center line into our final halt. Overall, I was pretty pleased with him, as he, was pretty tense in the beginning, but we worked our way through it. And we finished up with a 33.5, I think. And yeah, so I was pretty pleased with him and where we finished up. So then on to cross country. Red Hills is very difficult to make time, and I knew I kind of wanted to let him cruise around here. But I knew I had to be careful too, because he can tend to be a horse that with slippery footing can slip. So then coming on jump number 3 here, this was very wet there, and you can see he did a good job staying on his feet. But he was feeling really good and really confident. Now we're heading to the bounce banks, which I haven't done 2 bounce banks in a row with him, so I wasn't quite sure how he was going to react. But he did this really well, powered on through. I was really pleased with him there. And now coming to this water combination, which this was an interesting, it kind of had the riders scratching their head a bit, because we ended up kind of looping back around, but it worked out. He jumped the skinny really nice and wasn't worried about the crowd. And I try to make sure I keep coming through the water so I don't lose too many seconds there, but you always have to be careful not to go too fast in the water. But then he jumped in really nicely and stepped out really well. I was really pleased with how he was feeling. And now this combination I was a little worried about, but it was the right-handed angles, and he did a really good job of holding the line even though it was a little deep. And now coming to the second water. And then again, he was really just listening, staying in balance so we could get through the combinations quickly. And here's a little bit different angle so you can see those angled houses. It was actually a little bit easier because we did have ground that you can see, but he still kind of lands in the water there. And then the angle of the house out. And now coming back, you'll see I'll give him a little tap on the shoulder there just to tell him not to drop the shoulders right. And he did a really good job over the arrowhead. Now coming to this combination with the corners here. I'd walk this in a 6, but the 5 was right there, and he held the line perfect. And then he saw the corner and did the 3. So I was really pleased at how he went. He felt really game and, really confident. So I was really pleased with how much he's kind of developed the past year, and really felt like we were on the same page. Made it pretty quickly, and we moved up substantially to finish 7th after cross country. So now on to show jump. Again, I was in 7th place position. So that was pretty exciting. And he felt pretty good in the warm-up. But again, just working on getting my canter. Coming on to the first fence here. Gives me a really good feeling. This line walked in a steady 8. And I thought, oh, we're going to be there in 7. And bless him, he did such a good job of trying to keep that rail up. That was a really bad mistake on my part. And then I kind of paid for it a little bit here, just being a little rattled. So I had a little drift off my line, which meant I had to add to the 8 here instead of the 7, which put that a little bit of a longer distance. So we had 2 rails down. And I'm like, okay, Elisa, come on. Let the nerves go a little bit. And then we felt like I started to get it back better. Jumped that really good. And I just kept thinking to myself, keep coming through the turn, keep his neck nice and long. He jumped that really well. And again, out of that combination, now preparing here for this 5. And he's really jumping well, feeling really, really good. He's trying really hard to be careful, and we finished up the round really well and ended up 14th out of a big division. So I was really pleased with him and his performance this weekend.